And we are live. So today we're gonna start off a bit differently because the cup that we're brewing, I'm gonna do something called a sliver shot, which I made a video on in the past, where I try out a lot of different brewing ratios with the first cup. So that's gonna be exciting. I'm just gonna link it in the chat for anyone who wants to try it afterwards, but it's a really easy technique to segment and try out a lot of different brewing ratios with one brew. And this is the video. I'm posting it in the chat right now, so if you want to try out this technique that I'll be doing with the brew, follow that link. Anyways, welcome. Today we're busting out these guys over here. They are a Guatemalan bean. And let's see, they're a Caturra bourbon, fully washed, grown at 1,400 meters to 1,600 meters. Location is Huehuetenango. Tasting notes of milk chocolate, orange, muscat, and green apple. Let's begin. Let's first look at the beans. Down over here. Beans looking good. Even roast. Some very small ones. Looks like the size variation is a bit bigger on this one compared to the Ethiopian bean. So what I'm saying is that the biggest bean is, and the difference between the biggest bean and the smallest bean is quite intense over here. Good morning, David. Hope things are going well. Yeah, let's begin. Let's measure out these beans. Morning, Faye. So the first thing I'll do is purge my grinder with a couple of beans. And let's measure out 15 grams of coffee. Like so, 15 grams, here we go. And let's give it a grind. Today I'm also going to use this other filter that I had. We were talking about filters yesterday, and this one has a bigger or a wider weave, just like a wider weave. So compared to this guy, which is more dense, we might just get some different qualities from this. More sediments through, more oil, a quicker brew time. So let's play around with this one for this brew. I'm gonna grind it at a 35 setting. Go, 15. So yet again, today we're gonna do something called the salami shot in espresso, but we're gonna do it for pour overs, and we're gonna do it to really find out what brewing ratio we want to end up at. So we'll be trying out brewing ratios 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Actually, let's start 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, so we'll try 5 different brewing ratios in one go, which is pretty cool and exciting, and a easy technique you can do at home. Like so. We got our brewing device. And let's preheat. This filter looks very similar to like a Chemex filter with these tips over here. Just because it was made in a square, it gets that feature. It's pretty cute. So just preheating, I can tell that the speed of drawdown is way quicker than this filter over here. So how does this technique work? Well, we are going to, I'm going to write this down over here. Sliver off different segments of the coffee. So we have 15 grams of coffee. 15. And we want to try out 1:14 ratio, 1:15, 1:16, 1:17, and 1:18. And how are we going to do this? Well, we'll be brewing 1:14 into the cup, and then when all the liquid has removed itself from, oh no, Not sure what I can do with that. I haven't done anything different, sadly enough. Let's see. Hmm. Is it better now? Hey, Steve. Funky. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do, but I'm just gonna chug along. Exactly. Like over here it says good connection, but I actually don't know what good connection means. But yeah, we'll just keep on going. So, let's bring our calculator here. Fifteen times 14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate all the different water amounts that I need to do. Or actually, I just need to calculate one, but just writing it out so that I know what will happen for future me. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour in 15 grams of coffee. We'll move this down like so. And what's going to happen is that for the first pour, I'm going to pour 210 grams of water. And every segment after, I'm going to add 15 grams of water, but I'm going to segment it into these small cups over here. And then what I'll do is I'll taste the first cup, and then after tasting it, I'll add the next sliver into the cup. And we get to taste the whole rainbow between 1 to 14 to 1 to 18 brewing ratio. It'll make much more sense once I do it. So let's begin. We got our water temperature close to 92 degrees Celsius. Perfect, perfect. And we'll begin pouring. Pour 50 grams of water, give it a good stir. And now I'm pouring all the way to 210 grams of water. like so. And then I'll give it a swirl. And now we wait for it to fully drain out. And once it has drained out, we're going to take this brewing device and we're going to put it on one of these small cups over here and pour 15 grams of water. Okay, it has fully drained out. Now I'm moving it over here. And I'm pouring 15 grams. Like so. Letting it fully drain out. Another 15 grams of water. Oh, Faye. And another 15 grams of water. And the final 15 grams of water. Like so. There we go. So what we've just done here is to sliver out all the brewing ratios. So here is a 1 to, I can hold it like this. The 1 to 14 brewing ratio cup is right over here. If I add this to this, it becomes 1 to 15. If I add this to this, 1 to 16, this, and this in here, 1 to 17, and this, and this into here, 1 to 18. So we get to taste all of these different brewing ratios in one go. So it says excellent right now on the connection. Is it grainy or nah? Just curious. So this way over here to segment out all the different brewing ratios is a great way to just try out and see what works with a new bag of beans. It allows you to really play around with one brew and get as much information as possible with that one brew. Otherwise, I would have to try all of these brewing ratios separately, and it would take a way longer time to hone in on a specific brewing ratio. And I think that this way over here to really just shotgun a lot of different brewing ratios in one go is yet again a stellar way to it's a stellar way to just understand a bag of coffee really quickly. Okay, so let's give it a taste. This is the 1 to 14 brewing ratio right over here. So I'm gonna write in the specs that I used. I I'm not going to write in the brewing ratio just yet, but I used 15 grams of coffee. I'm not going to write the water amount yet because I don't know which brewing ratio is the best, but it's still 92 degrees Celsius water, and I used a 35 grind size. Like so. Okay, so let's taste the 1:14 brewing ratio. So, slight mouth puckering. I can tell that it's slightly under extracted. It's not like super mouth puckering, but it's still on the under extracted realm. And I'm just gonna move on from this one. There's not really any like characteristics that are showing itself through right now in this cup because of the intensity of the under extractedness. So now we're gonna make it into a 1:15 brewing ratio. Give that a quick stir. Even that small sliver rounded out the cup a lot. I still think that it does have some under extracted qualities that will slowly disappear over time over here, but so far this cup, the 1:15 brewing ratio, is better than the 1:14 brewing ratio. Good qualities, and I can taste more of the coffee, more of the flavors that I want from the cup. But I do think that as we add probably one or two more, we'll get into a range where it becomes a way more balanced and better cup. So let's add another sliver. This is the 1:16 brewing ratio sliver. Okay, so this is where mouthfeel is coming into play. So the under extracted qualities are close to non-existent, and it has more of like a coating mouthfeel that comes with a extracted qualities that are hampering the brew. So it's a pretty good cup of coffee, and I think that maybe one more sliver might be the sweet spot, but I would say the 1:16 is the best one so far, and it's pretty good. Yeah, it even has like some nice sweetnesses to it over here, and I do not taste any over or under extracted qualities. But who knows, maybe this 1:17 sliver will make it even better. Give it a stir. This is the 1:17. Yeah, I thought that the I thought that the 1:17 sliver actually added a bit more to the cup, so it made it a bit more silky smooth, and I feel like somewhere in between 1:16 and 1:17 is like the ideal brewing ratio for this cup of coffee over here. But the 1:16 was a bit more viscous and thick and juicy, while the 1:17 is a bit more silky, light, and focused on the specific taste nuances instead. So more tea-like versus more thick and viscous. And that is kind of the differences between the 1:16 and 1:17 brewing ratio that I'm getting over here. It's a small change, but it's crazy how much 15 grams of water really impacts a cup of coffee. And for science, we're just gonna add the last sliver, the 1:18 brewing ratio right over here. Give it a stir. Tasting the 1:18 brewing ratio. So, something weird happened. I'm not tasting a lot of under-extracted qualities, or over-extracted qualities, but the cup became pretty, like, even better in my opinion with the 1:18 ratio slivers. So, I guess the 1:16 and 1:17, the cup quality was really good over there, but the 1:18 is not too shabby either. Like, I can play around with the higher brewing ratios with this cup over here. And when I'm saying that it doesn't bring in those over extracted qualities, bitter over here, it's just more interesting flavors as I added that 1:18 brewing ratio sliver, which is amazing. So it does have like a slight over extractedness, but I still think that we can play around within the range of 1:16 and 1:18. And the best one is probably either one of the poles. So it's either 1:18 to really emphasize those tea-like flavors and the lightness of the cup, or go into the lower ratio of 1:16 to emphasize the viscousness and thickness and mouthfeel of the cup. And it really just depends on where you want to take the cup. Personally, I think these Guatemalan beans over here are more suited for the lower brewing ratio because it doesn't really have too many nuanced sweetnesses and interesting acidities and tastes that are being highlighted in the 1:18 ratio. And I felt like the mouthfeel that I was getting from the 1:16 to 1:17 ratio was more valued in this cup over here. So I would say the 1:16.5 is the best brewing ratio in this mini experiment over here. So I'm just gonna write 1:16 and have that as our starting brewing ratio over here. So after experimenting around with the brewing ratios, we found that the 1:16 was, in my opinion, the best cup. We can play around with the viscousness at the 1:16 ratio. The other variables are here. So 1:16 means 15 grams of coffee. It means 240 grams of water. We used 92 degrees Celsius temperature, and our grind setting was 35. We did not measure time. We're bringing the same beans? That's pretty funny. Try out this recipe if you can. So, what I want to explore over here is maybe tweak some of the variables at the 1:16 brewing ratio, because I felt like it was slightly under extracted, and it did open up once I went into the 1:17 brewing ratio. So let's try to play around with increasing the extraction just a bit at the 1:16 brewing ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind a bit finer or increase the temperature. Yeah, Steve, that's amazing because I found that the perfect taste for me was between 1 to 16 and 1 to 17 brewing ratio, which is 15 grams of coffee between 240 grams and 255. So we're literally using the same amount of coffee and water, and we're getting a delicious cup of coffee, which is pretty amazing. That just blows my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna try to extract a bit more, and I'm gonna do that by either making the grind size finer or increasing the water temperature. Because I can't really control time with my filter over here. There is no like method to control time in a pour over device other than pouring technique. But that is slightly finicky, so I would rather play around with other variables like grind size and water temperature. So I am going to, for tomorrow, do everything the same, but grind slightly finer. So instead of a 35 grind setting, I'm gonna do a 33 grind setting, and we'll see how that goes tomorrow. And I'm pretty confident that we've hit a sweet spot with these beans pretty quickly with the salami sliver shot over here. And it's a technique that you can use at home if you want to hone in on your pour over brew. And if you have a new bag, just doing this technique to really quickly get to a place where you understand the bean and you understand the tastes that it can provide. And I hope you've learned something new with this technique. It is something that I learned way back in the day as a barista, and we used it for espresso. So there were multiple cups of small cups like this under the espresso machine, and after every 5 seconds we would swap out the cup and add a new cup to grab the different parts of extraction and espresso. And in espresso it's called the salami shot because you get to taste the extraction levels of under extraction, over extraction, and really understand what the differences are between them. And we're doing the same thing here with the pour over to really hone in and quickly understand what the qualities of this bag of coffee is. Wow, I devoured that cup of coffee. Delicious. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow when we do the micro tweak and brew a whole cup of coffee with this new recipe, and we'll hopefully have a amazing cup of coffee. It's pretty nice outside today. I'm probably gonna go for a walk or something, enjoy the sunlight, soak in some vitamins, you know. And I'll see you peeps tomorrow. Have a good one.